One night, Catherine Dunn got a spooky call from her cousin. He told her about a creepy experience he had with his brother, their dad, and a buddy. They were messing around with a Ouija board in their basement. Before they started, they moved this really creepy doll to another room because it was giving them the creeps. They left it lying face down on some towels. While her cousin was out of the room, the others kept playing. They asked the board, "Who's in the room?" but only got a bunch of random numbers back. When he came back, his brother told him the board wasn't working right. But then, he showed him that the board had spelled out his social security number. That freaked them out. They kept asking the board questions, and it told them her cousin was going to die in the Air Force. They asked for a sign, and the board just spelled out DA. They went to check on the doll, and it was standing up, staring at them, blocking the door. They were so scared, they all ran out of the house. After that, they burned the Ouija board, trying to get rid of it for good. One of their friends got really freaked out and started acting weird. Despite the scary warning, her cousin joined the Air Force and now he's living in UK. Tony Downey had always known about the old Parker's brothers' Ouija board stashed away in their closet. Even as a kid, he was curious about it, though the box made it seem like a spooky game. Finally one day, Tony decided to see what it was all about and convinced his brother to join him. They placed their hands on the planchette and asked the usual questions, but nothing happened, so they packed it away. Later that night, Tony looked up how to use Ouija boards online. He discovered it's best to use them in a dark room with only candles for light. When their parents were out, Tony gathered candles and persuaded his brother to try again. With the lights off, they asked if someone was there. To Tony's surprise, the planchette moved. Tony's brother swore he wasn't moving it, yet it spelled out yes. Tony's brother asked if it was a good spirit, but it spelled out no. Terrified, Tony retreated to his room. From upstairs, Tony heard his brother scream. Rushing downstairs, he found his brother with a scratch on his shirt. Urged by his brother, they burned the Ouija board and promised not to speak of it again. And true to their word, they never used it again. During the summer of 2013, Athena Dorian faced a puzzling and eerie situation involving a triangle Ouija board. She got the old board from her friends in a trade, thinking it was valuable. But after trying it alone and finding it useless, she tossed it on her living room floor, not expecting what would follow. The next morning, chaos greeted Athena. Her plans were knocked over and the Ouija board sat on the table, seemingly moved by an unseen force. Perplexed and alarmed, she couldn't explain how it all happened. The idea of the wind causing the mess seemed unlikely, leading her to consider other possibilities like sleepwalking or a half-awake accident. As she cleaned up and noticed the dirt stains, Athena's discomfort grew. She decided to move the Ouija board box to her room, hoping to put an end to the strange occurrences. However, the night brought a series of unsettling events that shook her to the core. In the darkness, a click and the sudden glow of her closet light startled Athena. Each time she turned it off, it turned back on, filling the room with an eerie light. Fear and confusion gripped her as she grappled with the inexplicable events unfolding before her. Driven by a growing sense of unease and a desire to rid herself of the eerie presence, Athena took swift action. Without hesitation, she disposed of the Ouija board in the nearest dumpster, hoping to break free from its unsettling influence once and for all. And with that decisive move, the strange and unsettling occurrences that had plagued her came to an end, allowing Athena to finally find peace and relief from the eerie events. Clyde Natalio invited some friends over one evening, and they decided to try out the Ouija board they found in a neighbor's trash. It had the board and the glass piece you hold onto. The four of them held onto the piece and asked silly questions, just fooling around. One of them kept moving the glass piece around to trick the others. When one friend went to the bathroom and the other got bored, it was just Clyde and another friend holding onto it. Clyde asked the board, "When will I die?" And the piece slowly moved to the letter T. Clyde looked at his friend, thinking it was him, but his friend said he thought it was Clyde. The piece then moved to O, then M, and back to O. That's when Clyde realized it spelled out tomorrow. His friend, startled, said it wasn't him, and the piece stopped moving. Clyde was convinced it was his friend, but his friend swore it wasn't. The next day, while walking his dog in the preserve, Clyde's dog's collar snapped and he ran into the road. Clyde chased after him, hearing a car horn getting louder. He dove out of the way just in time, barely grazing the passing car with his foot. But the danger wasn't over. Later that day, while sitting under the kitchen ceiling fan on full blast, Clyde got up to get something from the fridge. Suddenly, he heard a loud crash behind him. All the glass on the table shattered and everything fell to the floor. The fan had fallen from the ceiling, narrowly missing Clyde's head. Clyde couldn't help but wonder if it was a coincidence that he had two close calls the day after the Ouija board said he would die. All he knew was he vowed never to touch a Ouija board again. Dorit Richards never really shared this story with anyone. Their family had a big closet full of old board games, including a Ouija board. Dorit always wanted to try it, but never felt comfortable doing it while their family was around. One weekend, when their parents went to the city and their brother went on a camping trip, Dorit had the house to themselves. They were more excited about trying the Ouija board than having a party with friends. The weather was bad, which made it feel more mysterious. Around midnight, Dorit set up the board in the dining room and dimmed the lights. They asked the questions but got no answers. Eventually, they put the board away and went to bed. In the middle of the night, Dorit heard creaking downstairs by the front door. At first, they ignored it, but then it got closer, like it was coming up the stairs. Dorit got worried. The creaking got closer until it stopped right outside their door. Dorit felt like someone was in the house. Since cell phones weren't common then, calling the police wasn't an option. Suddenly, lightning flashed and Dorit saw something black near the door. They tried to stay quiet, but then the door slammed shut and Dorit screamed. They hid under the covers, scared and crying, feeling like something was in the room with them. Hours passed, and when morning came, Dorit peeked out and saw nothing. They checked for signs of a break-in but found none. They saw the Ouija board on the table and immediately connected it to what happened. Dorit threw it in the outside trash and never touched it again. Nothing strange happened since, but Dorit kept the story to themselves, feeling like no one would believe him except for those who read their story online. They were sure the Ouija board caused the strange events. After hearing these eerie Ouija board tales, would you dare to play it yourself? Let us know in the comments below, and if you have any scary encounters, share your experiences with us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to FearFlex for more videos like this. Thanks for watching and see you at the next one.